Okay, hello everyone and welcome. My name is Zach Rogers. I'm the product manager for Inspire here at Hexagon. Thanks for joining us today for the Inspire 2025.2 release webinar. I'm really quite excited about this release. We have a lot of meaningful improvements across performance, automation, GD&T alignments, instruments, and overall workflow quality. My goal today with the webinar is to walk you through the major updates, kind of highlight what's new, bring a couple of things to your attention, and show how these enhancements can make your daily work faster, smoother, more reliable, right? Any questions, anything like that come up during the presentation, please use the little Q&A button up at the top of your screen. We'll do our best to get all your questions answered. Have no fear, your microphones and cameras should be shut off automatically, so they should not turn on unexpectedly. But we will be recording the presentation today, so we'll make it available to you afterwards, and you can share it with your colleagues or anyone else that you like. Yeah, so that takes care of the formalities here. I think we can just dive right in. So 25.2, about 134 separate things when we went through the list as far as what we changed. A lot of little changes, a couple of big changes. All in all, a nice little update package. Rather than go through every single one of those 134 or so, we'll just kind of focus on the main categories today. So we've improved alignment workflows, expanded support for new instruments, added more scripting and automation options, improved the user experience, and delivered some nice little CAD integration updates for the newest 25 and actually some of the 2026 CAD releases already as well. These improvements all build towards the same goal, giving you smoother, more reliable inspection workflows with more capability and less effort. So let's start with the new iterative RPS alignment workflow. The iterative RPS alignment, this provides more accurate and stable RPS results by simulating how a physical gauge would contact the part. Exactly how RPS is really intended to function, right? So your digital alignment will pretty much exactly match what the real world fixturing is. You can run this as a guided, kind of a guided manual process just by pushing the button, say iterate, or bake it into the actions list so you can have a more automated workflow. You can define a tolerance zone, which is kind of how close to the actual RPS point you need to get. And Inspire will guide you through each of those points and refine each point measurement until it falls within that zone. And now that's always been the tricky thing with RPS, because when you measure a point that's your RPS alignment relies on, your RPS alignment will update. So if you go to measure one point, all the other points might shift a little bit, and then you got to figure out what other point you need to measure, and then figure out what other point you need to measure. So this iterate RPS alignment takes care of that for you. Especially helpful when measuring castings or stampings or injection molded parts that rely on RPS alignments, or really anything that has a significant manufacturing variation to it, or when you really want a tight datum target zone. So I'll go ahead and do a quick demo here, and we'll jump into that here. Here's a look at the iterate capability we have for RPS alignments. This allows for providing guidance to measure your RPS alignment points exactly where you need to on your part. The problem you may have encountered with RPS alignments is that the points you are measuring are the ones that define your alignment. So if you have a relatively small target zone that you want to work with for your surface points, it can be difficult to get the point measured exactly where you need it to be. And if you're not inside of your target zone, your alignment will not be correct. We'll start off with the standard RPS alignment here. For this example, my RPS alignment is comprised of all surface points, but the same iterate process will work for surface points used with any mixture of features used in an RPS alignment. As I start measuring, we see the target points on the surface of the part, but as I'm not yet aligned, the probe is not overlaying on those targets. This is the classic problem with datum targets, especially when you have relatively small datum target zones. You need to first align to know where to measure, but you also have to measure within the datum target zone in order to get the alignment right. Our RPS alignment is updating with each measured point, and we have an over-constrained situation. So as I get to this very last point, you finally see that the probe is overlaying on the targets. Once I finish measuring my RPS points the first time is where the new iterate option starts. With the iterate mode now active, I have guidance, and I'm being directed to go back and re-measure the points that were not within my desired target zone. In this case, 2 millimeters. As I measure one point, the RPS alignment updates, and then I'm directed to whatever point is now the one that is most outside my target zone. And then once all my points are inside of their target zones, the RPS alignment is complete. The actions list then proceeds to the next feature, and I can continue to measure. That's it. That's the new iterative RPS alignment. Quite fast and easy in practice, and I think a great little enhancement for anybody using RPS with surface points. Moving on, GD&T Datum Alignment is the other big enhancement when it comes to alignments. With this release, what we've added is the ability to automatically apply an alignment based on the GD&T callout you select. So it can take any callout and apply exactly that alignment. And what's really powerful here is how we handle things like data modifiers, that allow datum shifts, particularly when material condition modifiers like MMC or LMC are applied. That can make the alignment itself just kind of really difficult to understand. And this handles that all automatically. GD&T also, of course, allows under-constrained datum reference frames, and you can handle that equally well with this. So it's really a workflow. It gives you more consistent way to work with GD&T. It opens up very intuitive and visual reporting options that can be used in conjunction with any of your GD&T checks. We'll do another short little presentation on that as well here, so you can see how it actually works in practice. Let's take a look at our new GD&T Datum Alignment capability. This new capability will let us directly apply the alignment from any GD&T check in our file, even ones that have a feature control frame that does not fully lock down all degrees of freedom. And that's exactly what I have in this example here. I have a pattern feature comprised of 4 holes, and it has a position requirement. For that position requirement, we have a datum A plane as the primary datum, and a cylinder for the B datum. This, of course, leaves 1 degree of freedom open. We're free to rotate about the center of the datum B cylinder. Looking at our feature control frame, we also have a material modifier for our datum B, which opens up the datum reference frame a bit more and allows for a datum shift. At the moment, the data in the file is aligned to an RPS alignment, which is set up to be essentially a best fit to the 4 holes used in that pattern feature. This, of course, is a different alignment than what is defined in our feature control frame. And sure enough, if I look at the position deviation of my holes, it does not match what the position check shows. Not at all unexpected. If you apply a different alignment, you will have different results. Now what I want to do is to apply that datum alignment exactly as it's being used by my position check. So let's take a look at that, because that's how our new feature works. So how do I apply the datum alignment? Well, it's quite easy. We just simply come over here to our alignment tab, click to add a datum alignment, and then select the feature with the GD&T check that we want to align. That will add an alignment to our tree and set it active, which applies that transform to our data. Looking again now at our position check, it has a diametrical tolerance zone. So we take the radial deviation of the worst point, which is showing as 0.292, double that deviation, and sure enough, we match perfectly to the results from the position check, because the alignment in our file now matches exactly what's used by that position check. That's the GD&T datum alignment. So 2 good little enhancements for alignments between the Iterate RPS and then the GD&T datum alignment. Hope everybody gets a lot of use out of these too. Behind the 2 alignment changes, there's the whole host of other changes with Inspire this time around, right? So we had 134, if I remember correctly. Amongst them were the new actions. So we introduced several new actions here. But the goal was to make repeated inspections faster and easier. You can now automatically generate spreadsheet-based reports. So if you have had a chance to look at that, the spreadsheet report functionality is something we introduced in the 24.2 release of Inspire. It's just a real easy way to create custom reports using, very intuitive, easy to use kind of spreadsheets that everybody's comfortable using. Very simple way to drag and drop any criteria from within Inspire into a spreadsheet, put it wherever you want, apply whatever formatting you want. With this release, we take that same exact functionality we've had that's already there, and we just simply allow it to be put into the actions and save off the spreadsheet automatically, right? The perfect kind of thing you want for any repeated inspection workflow. We also export criteria out to CSV for downstream analysis, as well as exporting points out to CSV. Again, mostly for downstream analysis, importing into third-party software. A lot of SPC software simply expects a simple CSV export, and this is a perfect way to do that. So these features are really just in there to help enable that fully template-driven workflows, giving you a real easy way to build highly repeatable and consistent inspection processes with little effort. Excellent for production environments or anywhere really where speed and consistency matter and where you want to do the same process with the same results over and over again. Very similar related to that, we've added GD&T and SPC scripting support inside of Inspire scripting engine. So this is for anybody using Inspire scripting or automation. And we've basically made it so that you can do all of this completely lights out, right? Just write a script and let it do it for you. You can define datum features, apply GD&T checks through code, modify criteria, and also add and remove SPC samples as needed. And this opens the door to fully automated workflows that simply weren't possible before. The Inspire scripting is really powerful. If you haven't had a chance to look at this yet, I highly recommend it. It's all Python based, so there's a lot of online resources available to you. And your favorite AI can probably type you out some Python code that would work immediately in Inspire if you wanted to. In just a little bit here in this presentation, I'll show you an example of extracting some info from a QR code. That's using the intensity value that we're getting with RDS 6.6, and then a very simple Python script behind it. We're using a publicly available Python library, was it PyZbar? And the line to decode the QR code is literally one line. It's PyZbar decode, and then whatever the image of the QR code that was previously saved is. So you can do some really amazing things if you haven't. So again, if you haven't had a chance to look at the Inspire scripting, definitely do. There's a couple of things online as well, some simple basic scripts to get you started. That's also a great place to get started with it. Okay, some more quality of life improvements here. And I know we've had a lot of requests from you guys for this one, so I'm happy that we have it. You can customize the size of the HUD. And you can mostly see this in the right image there on the screen. You see it getting really large there. And we set this up so that you have individual settings for both trackers and arms. And the goal here is to help when you're working far away from your computer, right? Especially with trackers, you'll very commonly find yourself halfway across the shop floor and looking back at your computer, seeing what feature you're currently measuring, what your point count is for that feature. Even when you're using remotes, it's always good to be able to look back at the screen and see exactly what's going on. So just giving you guys that ability to do quick and simple and easy customization of that HUD size gives you a little bit nicer, like I said, quality of life when using Inspire across the shop floor. And these are separate for trackers and arms, like I said. So you can set it to whatever your preferred sizes for trackers, and maybe something smaller for arms, or maybe you have one of the really big arms and you want it big there too. You just go ahead and set it to whatever size you like. Moving on a little bit, we've also expanded support for the handheld 3D scanners. So this would be like the Marvel scan, the Atlas scan. And this is building on something that was released by the handheld 3D scanners with HHScan 2025.5. And that's they enhance the whole flash capture technology or capability of those scanners. This is something we could already do in Inspire, but it was based on the previous iteration of it. And when they updated it with 25.5, Inspire needed a small update to take advantage of the enhanced capability there. For those of you who don't know, the hole flash, it allows you to capture like the center, diameter, orientation of holes and slots real fast and easy with one of those devices. It avoids that kind of slower, less than ideal repeatability, reliability process that you get when you're trying to extract using scan data sometimes. And so it gives you much faster, more repeatable hole inspection results. Immensely useful when you have parts with a lot of holes that you need to measure, or really any workflow where hole geometry is a major focus. So anybody that's running the HH scan or handheld 3D scanners, update to HH scan 2025.5, and this will automatically work with Inspire 25.2. Yep. And of course, updated CAD support. This is something that we are always on top of with Inspire, and so this release is no different. We've updated CAD support to align with pretty much all the major 25 and already 26 CAD releases. So on that list are Autodesk Inventor and Navisworks. From Dassault, we have CATIA, I guess that's V5 6R 2025. From PTC, Creo 12.4. From Siemens, the latest NX and Parasolid. And then also updated STEP and IFC standards. So all that is in the 25.2 release. And really this ensures no matter what you or your customers or partners or anybody else you work with are using, Inspire can read it reliably. And that, by the way, is just so everybody's aware, all versions of Inspire contain all of these CAD translators. So you can grab any file from pretty much anywhere and have it in Inspire natively. And then kind of coming towards the end here, this is that QR code extraction that I told you about. So RDS 6.6 introduces some neat capability for AS1 scanners. We can get grayscale intensity values. And we've looked at a couple of ways to utilize this. And what the grayscale intensity does, gives you kind of just a new layer of contextual data while scanning. So you can very easily see things like surface markings or labels, identify like welded areas or texture on the part. I've also looked at identifying things like rivets or fasteners. Those are all things we're working on, but just having this grayscale intensity data inside of Inspire right now and being able to visualize it makes things, nicer and easier. Like I said, if even surface markings, if there's if somebody has a part number written on or a serial number written on the part, let's say a wax crayon, that will show up in the intensity data real easy. So you can very quickly see that and identify it in the part if you like. So nice for improving part interpretation, visualization tools. But kind of looking at this, maybe some creative ideas for the future. Or in this case, what I'll show you in just a second is a neat little creative idea using Python scripting. So let's jump there. Just a quick demo here as well. So this is the one I mentioned earlier, right? So this is going to be, you're going to see me scanning everything. And then the magic of extracting that QR code is using Python scripting. And like I said, that's just a one-line PZ bar decode to extract that QR code from a screenshot that's captured. What I'm going to show you now is just a fun application of utilizing the intensity data that we get from an AS1 and RDS 6.6. Just a quick scan of a small area of my part here. With the cloud set to show intensity, we can easily see that there's a QR code attached to the part. I then have a simple Python script to extract the QR code, and we can then use that data as we wish. Here, I'm just going to show it to the user with a message, but it would be equally easy to use it for the file name or embed it in a report, or perhaps use it for the serial number field in Inspire's SPC feature. Yeah, so that one's pretty fun. That's about it for today on features. Like I said, I didn't want to go through all 134 little things we did there. Just kind of highlight a couple of the bigger ones, the ones that you'll notice the most. And yeah, it's all available right now. Inspire 25.2 has been released. You can download it from the Inspire product page at hexagon.com. The Universal Updater will also have this. If you have that, you actually should already be seeing it there. If you're interested, there's a what's new and a little bit more info available via Nexus. And of course, to run 25.2, your SMA needs to be up to date. If for some reason that's not the case, your SMA is out of date, you can just real quickly grab your camera and scan that QR code, and that'll take you to a handy spot just to get somebody to reach out to you and contact you to get your SMA renewal going. Or of course, your local, your favorite local Hexagon sales rep can sort that out as well. Before I wrap up today, I want to thank the entire Inspire development team. A real lot went into this release, and I know they're already well underway on our 26.1 release. They really do an outstanding job and deserve a bit of applause. So yeah, thanks a lot to our dev team. Alongside that, we have one other new member of our team. And so a big thanks to Leo Ventura. He's now leading marketing for us at Inspire. So you'll see more videos and content across all the usual channels, and that's largely thanks to his effort and him encouraging us to do more and just to get out there a little bit more. I think we've always been good about creating great things and not necessarily great about telling the world about our great things. So excellent having Leo on board. Like I said, during the presentation, I was hoping you guys would be adding to the Q&A. Hopefully, well, I see a note there that audio was off during the demo. I hope that wasn't the case. If it was, we'll have to sort that out for next time. But yeah, if there are any questions, anything at all, of course, you can reach out to us at any time. If you want to, you can drop it in the Q&A as well, and we'll get to it as quick as we can. Okay, so not really seeing a whole lot there. I guess that's it for today. I want to thank everyone for attending, and again, big thank you to the development team and Leo as well, and hope to see you real soon at the 26.1 release.